About the griffin. The griffin is the largest of all flying birds. He lives in the eastern land in the river ocean. When the sun rises out of the water depths and the sun dawn breaks, he, having spread his wings, welcomes the sun dawn. Another griffin comes to him and, standing by his side, welcomes the dawn, and they speak so, "Come, enlightener, give the world light." Like the two griffins assist the deity, so Archangel Michael and the Holy Mother of God appease the man-loving God's anger at the Christian world. That is why, man, grasp who will come to help you, what you give to your soul, and the fact that you honor the saints will be helpful to you and to those who are poor, praying, and loving. And do not call for help to anyone but God. The griffin as a symbol. The griffin is the largest of all flying birds. Although griffins are mythical, they are here described as real and supreme, divine creatures of the air, heavenly or angelic beings. The eastern land is traditionally where the sun rises, symbolizing divine illumination, resurrection, or beginning. The river ocean is a boundary of the world in Greek cosmology and here represents cosmic heavens where the divine emerges. He spreads his wings and welcomes the sun dawn. All we need to do is look to the east at dawn on the spring equinox, and we can see the griffin. Pegasus' wings welcoming the sun, and the lion's head is below the horizon but his body can still be seen. This is the griffin. Another griffin comes to him and, standing by his side, welcomes the dawn, and they speak so, "Come, enlightener, give the world light." Like the two griffins assist the deity, so Archangel Michael and the Holy Mother of God appease the man-loving God's anger at the Christian world. The other griffin could be the Leo and Aquila eagle constellations. The Lynx constellation is a latter invention. This griffin rises before the other. According to early myths, everywhere the winged horse struck his hoof to the earth, an inspiring water spring burst forth. The Book of Enoch. Michael is one of 7 archangels. In less common depiction, Michael holds a pair of scales, weighs the souls of the departed, and holds the book of life. He is most often associated with Leo and Libra, even sometimes with Aries. Mother of Gods is Virgo, and also Maya or May. All of these make sense in this context. Griffins are the guardians of the equinoxes, or the ecliptic. Let us look at what Aeschylus, Prometheus bound. Now hear of another perilous vision. For the sharp barking, relentless hounds of Zeus. The griffins guard the way, and with them the one-eyed Arimaspian tribe, horse riders who dwell about the gold-flowing stream of Pluto's passage. Do not approach them. Vision can also refer to theory or speculation. The word here in astrology is an aspect of signs equidistant from the equinoctial sign or the celestial equator. We will look at this later from both the time in the past and in present. Now, for the sharp barking, relentless hounds of Zeus. Let's examine the word oxystomos. The first part oxy means sharp, both for senses and a description of a sharp thing. But it also is an interval of a fifth in music, and Leo is the 5th house from the tropical equinox point. Stomos means any opening, entrance, outlet. Also a chasm in the earth, where springs come forth. This is where we get. Everywhere the winged horse struck his hoof to the earth, an inspiring water spring burst forth. According to Hippolytus, Pythagorean thought held that the first principle was the monad, the one which begot the dyad, 2, which gave rise to numbers, then to points, lines, and ultimately the material world. The monad symbolized divinity, the first being, or the totality of all things in creation. Cynicism was an ancient Greek philosophical school that taught that happiness is achieved through virtue in agreement with nature, by living rationally, simply, and free from societal conventions. Cynics rejected desires for wealth, fame, and possessions, and openly mocked social norms. The movement began with Antisthenes, a student of Socrates, and was most famously embodied by Diogenes, who lived in a jar and practiced shameless nonconformity. Crates of Thebes followed him, giving up his fortune to live in cynic poverty. Though it declined after the 3rd century BC, cynicism revived during the Roman Empire. influencing public preachers and even early Christianity. The word cynic comes from Greek, dog-like, possibly referencing their indifference and public behavior, like dogs, their shamelessness, their role as guardians of their philosophy, their ability to discern friends from enemies. For the next part, the Griffins guard. The word guard means keep watch and ward, keep guard, especially by night. Guard, defend. Lie in wait or ambush. Preserve, maintain, cherish. To beware of, be on one's guard against, avoid a thing or person. The verb to divide into tribes. The Arimaspi were a legendary tribe of one-eyed people of northern Scythia who lived in the foothills of the Riphean Mountains. All tales of their struggles with the gold-guarding griffins in the Hyperborean lands near the cave of Boreas, the north wind, Glythron, had their origin in a lost work by Aristes, reported in Herodotus. The Arimaspi were described by Aristes of Proconnesus in his lost archaic poem Arimaspia. Proconnesus is a small island in the Sea of Marmora near the mouth of the Black Sea, well situated for hearing travelers' tales of regions far north of the Black Sea. Aristes narrates in the course of his poem that he was wrapped in Bacchic fury when he traveled to the north and saw the Arimaspians, as reported by Herodotus. Arimaspi and griffins were historical images associated with the outlands of the north. Strabo and Pliny's Natural History perpetuated the stories about the northern people who had a single eye in the center of their foreheads and engaged in stealing gold from the griffins, causing disagreements between the two groups. Let's hear what Herodotus says about the griffins. Aristes, son of Caestrobius, a man of Proconnesus, who composed epic poetry, said that he had journeyed among the Isidones while being divinely radiant, and that beyond the Isidones dwelled the Arimaspians, one-eyed men, and beyond them the Griffins, guardians of gold, and beyond them the Hyperboreans, who live at the edge of the sea. All of these peoples, except the Hyperboreans, beginning with the Arimaspians, were continually at war with their neighbors. The Arimaspians driving the Isidones from their land, the Isidones pushing the Scythians, and the Cimmerians who lived by the southern sea, being pressed by the Scythians and forced to abandon their land. If we look at the sequence of peoples from south to north, Cimmerians by the southern sea, Black Sea region, Scythians north of them, Isidones further northeast, Arimaspians even further, one-eyed raiders, Griffins, guardians of gold, Hyperboreans at the world's edge, near the sea, possibly Arctic or polar. Herodotus is talking about learning, giving a map to reach the gold.
From the shadows to
Hyperboreans, protected by the Griffins. The unspoken. The shadows are the surface story. By studying the words you will reach the gold. Let's get back to Aeschylus' Prometheus bound. And the one-eyed tribe, the horse-riding Arimaspians. One-eyed, reference of the Cyclopes, but also a bandage for one eye. This is used for when one is applying a medicinal remedy to the eye, or those who are christing an eye with drugs. Army, people, tribe. The horse-riding Arimaspians, going on horseback, equestrian. With not just riding on horseback but with the emphasis on the going or movement. Now the word Arimaspians. Scholars widely agree that Arimaspians comes from old Iranian roots. The gatekeepers agree we could just stop and just believe what they say, and not press on for the gold or the higher learning. But starting at this point does have value. As we can see, this is a great tribe of arrow-shooting warriors. And when shooting an arrow, you often close one eye to take aim. If your mind is starting to say bullseye, very good. It is doing what it is supposed to do. If you think in pictures in your mind, you'll have an easier time with grasping the Greek concepts, the unspoken language from the stars. Here is where we can look at the word Arimaspian to see what we can glean. Ari has a meaning of a tool, which is a bow drill. It also has the AR root, appearing in words tied to power, light, beginning, and nobility. Raise, shine, begin, rule, especially Ares and Ares, the god of war. AR. Based Greek roots trace back to a root, meaning to fit, join, arrange, linked to order, origin, craft. Next we have M, A. Ma as in May. Greek goddess Maya. Her name is related to Maya, an honorific term for older women related to Meter, mother. The Greek root sp, sigma pi, is found in several powerful and ancient Greek words, especially those related to seed, force, scattering, breath, and spiraling movement. From this word, we are being pointed to Taurus and the month of May, where we yoke or bind the oxen to plow the field, so we can plant the seeds that give us nourishment and life. Remember that Taurus comes after Aries. The next verse, who dwell around the gold-flowing stream of Pluto's way. Interesting that the who, as has a leaning to sheep ram, or you. Dwell is straightforward. The amphi, the word given is around. More technically both or on both sides. This meaning is evident in words like amphibian, an animal that lives both on land and in water, and amphitheater, a structure with seating on all sides of a central space. In the stars,
Things
that are close to the equinoxes take on a golden appearance, such as the golden fleece of the ram's skin. This is the point where the cosmic heavens flow to Earth. The passage is telling us to look both at Taurus and Pisces. So, about Pluto's passage. Pluto, or better as Hades, resides below the ecliptic, or the underworld. Now we can see the evolution of Hades' hellhounds and the river Styx. In Greek mythology, Styx, meaning shuddering, is a goddess and one of the rivers of the Greek underworld. According to Hesiod, Styx lived at the entrance to Hades, in a cave, propped up to heaven all round with silver pillars. Hesiod also tells us that Zeus would send Iris, the messenger of the gods, to fetch the famous cold water of Styx for the gods to swear by, and describes the punishments which would follow the breaking of such an oath. Styx was given 1/10 of her father's water, which flowed far underground, and came up to the surface to pour out from a high rock. In the Iliad, the river Styx forms a boundary of Hades, the abode of the dead, in the underworld. Also in Virgil's Aeneid, where the Styx winds 9 times around the borders of Hades, and the boatman Charon is in charge of ferrying the dead across it. Styx, along with the underworld rivers Cocytus and Acheron, were associated with waterways in the upper world.
now.
For the stars, Aries was once the spring equinox point, so they tell us. But now it has moved due to precession to Pisces, making Sheraton a star in Aries, now at 1 hour and 56 minutes from the modern equinox point. In Ptolemy's Almagest, Book 7, and even earlier sources like Hipparchus, the equinox was said to occur within the constellation Aries, specifically near the first star in Aries, which would have been Hamal or perhaps Sheraton. Ptolemy placed the vernal equinox at around 5 degrees into Aries, just past Hamal, in line with star-based sidereal coordinates. The head/forehead of Aries Hamal as the first to rise. Hamal once marked the vernal equinox about 2,200 years ago, when the sun rose in Aries near the star. Nowadays, the sun aligns with Hamal in late April. Together, they can be seen as balancing stars on either side of the celestial gateway of spring, Aldebaran on the rising side, Sidalsud on the setting or heralding side.